Here we have the brand new fragrance from the brand BDK Parfums. Now, of course, this is a Parisian brand. The creative director is David Benedek. And here we have a perfume called 312 Saint-Honore. And this is a fragrance that contains some floral ingredients, some white musk, some ambroxan, some fruity nuances. As a matter of fact, all of the notes are listed right here on the front. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's refreshing. I'm excited to tell you all about it very soon, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on this brand new fragrance, I'm going to talk about the notes, performance, longevity, comparisons, all that good stuff. But before I begin the video, I do want to mention that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and please give this video a thumbs up. It would really, really mean a lot to me. So check out the notes. We have Bay Rose, which is pink pepper from Madagascar, Angelica, orange blossom, tonka bean, iris, ambroxan, and white musks. As far as this note breakdown is concerned, it seems pretty straightforward. You're going to say, okay, it's going to be irisy, maybe it's going to be starchy or lipsticky. There's orange blossom, maybe it's going to have a bit of a refreshing floral component. White musks, it's going to be clean, ethereal, billowy. Tonka bean, it's going to be creamy, maybe even a little bit on the sweet side of things. And you're trying to piece it together in your mind. You smell it for the first time and you're like, this really isn't what I was expecting. You kind of had an idea of the direction that it was going to go in, but then when you finally try it, you're like, wait, this is something a little bit different from what I had imagined in terms of the olfactive landscape. But nevertheless, it is such an awesome fragrance. I'm so excited to share my thoughts on it with you very soon. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. Now, right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get this creamy floral vibe. And that's what I personally get from it. And of course, when we're talking about Bay Rose from Madagascar, which is, pink pepper can have a bit of a rosy smell, but it can also be a little on the peppery side of things too. So you have this sort of floral component in the opening, but it has that personality to it. It has a little pizzazz to it. It's not gentle, it's not meek, it doesn't take a back seat, but it's not full out gregarious either, right? It doesn't announce its presence or anything like that. The tonka bean is such a beautiful marriage to the pink pepper, the orange blossom, and the iris. And it doesn't smell lipsticky, so we can sort of eliminate that. And it doesn't smell overly starchy either. It smells full, but it doesn't smell lipsticky or starchy, which are two things that are typically associated with either iris, tuberose, or a combination of the two. So you do have the orange blossom, and what I can say, it has this refreshment in the opening, but it's not a very strong orange blossom note. Whenever I think of orange blossom or fleur d'orange, I think of Sevilla L'aube by L'Artisan Parfumeur, which is an amazing fragrance by Bertrand Duchaufour. And that one is very bright, very citrusy, very floral, and I'm not quite getting that here, but I do feel as though the iris and the pink pepper has a strong presence in this fragrance. And despite it constituting as a base note in this fragrance, the tonka bean is quite strong. So the tonka bean comes through, it's creamy, it's sweet, it's a little bit on the vanillic side of things, but I wouldn't smell this and say, oh, that's a gourmand. I don't think it's a gourmand. I think it is a floral at the very heart of it. As far as, literal, concerns are made or to be made, I think this one, with that sort of floral bouquet, the iris, the orange blossom, and also that floral tendency that's coming from the pink pepper, it's very well rounded out. So it gives you a nice diverse aroma. And then of course the Angelica in here, I think really gives it an interesting sort of accent piece to the floral bouquet. I've smelled Angelica in a variety of different fragrances, Uncut Gem by Frederic Malle being one of them, and it always adds a quirky little personality. When it's in there, it's not full on spicy, but sometimes it can be herbal and herbaceous. So when you smell it, you know exactly what it's doing in here, and I think it's quite special in that way. And then of course, I didn't mention the white musks or the ambroxan just yet. This does not smell aquatic or oceanic. If we can just sort of wipe that out of mind, there's a certain density about it that I think is, interestingly enough, established by the tonka bean and the florals. And I think the ambroxan just adds this clean base that complements the white musks very, very nicely. White musks, blonde musks, for the most part, it's the same thing, and I'm sure they're 100% synthetics, galaxolide, ambretolide, so on and so forth. This stuff is awesome. It's really, really good. So here's the thing. I think from a traditional vantage point, some people will look at the note breakdown and they'll say, oh, iris and angelica and orange blossom, it's going to be feminine leaning, right? I think some people will be of that mindset. I think that, you know, for as long as you have experience with these floral ingredients and, you know, you have a pretty wide collection and you've experienced a number of niche perfumes, I think you'll consider this the same way that I do. I think it's unisex. I think anybody can wear it. But at the end of the day, I do think that that floral presence might allow some people to employ that mindset that maybe it's going to be a little feminine leaning. But you know, what I always urge you to do is try it for yourself, see if you like it, see if you enjoy it. And look, I love BDK Parfums. Everything from Rouge Smoking to Gris Charnel to their citrus-based offerings in the blue bottles. And, you know, they're just really, really well done. At the end of the day, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have the opportunity to try it. And if you do, drop your comments down below. Always love the interaction. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I personally do find this fragrance to be quite unique, which is something that has been said about the brand BDK Parfums. They're not reductive, they're not inspired by anything, they are just always novel and standing on their own two legs. In terms of the longevity of this fragrance, you're going to get a solid 8 hours on skin. Projection was really good for the first hour of application. It pushed out just a little bit beyond an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent right around hour 5 or 6, a skin scent right around hour 8. In terms of the versatility, perfectly unisex. Keep in mind what I said earlier on in the review. I think this one can be worn dressed up or dressed down, but there's something kind of special and fancy about it. I can see a lot of people choosing to wear this one in a formal scenario. I think this one would probably appeal to somebody who's a little bit more experienced with niche perfumes. So perhaps somebody a little bit older or a more mature, sophisticated demographic. I'm not really going to put an age on it or anything like that. And I think this one is great for any time of the year. I think the longevity is good enough. You can wear it in the cold weather. I think it has enough of a fresh and floral presence that you can wear this one in the hot weather as well. In terms of the presentation, drawer style presentation, notes are listed on it. There's a description on the smell on the side here. It's actually quite nice. I really do enjoy the attention to detail. My final verdict on this fragrance is it's beautifully done, floral, creamy, smooth. There's a clean vibe in the dry down, and it has a bit of that sort of personality where it makes its presence known a little bit, but it's not full-blown gregarious. It also doesn't take a back seat, and it's not shy or timid or meek either. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching 312 Saint-Honore by BDK Parfums. If you own or have tried this fragrance or any from the brand, if you have a favorite, let me know what it is. Drop your comment down below. Also, if you took something of value from today's episode, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell and give this video a thumbs up as well for the algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. We'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.